All right, it is 6 p.m. on this March 13th, 2024, so I will call this town council meeting to order. Recognize that we have a quorum present and welcome everyone to the chambers and to those who are watching online. Thank you for tuning in. It's been an exciting time here in Farm Vegas. We've got two basketball teams making national headlines, shining their light on us, and we're appreciative of all their efforts. Sport is one of those things that transcends some boundaries, and so it's always good to celebrate those moments and do it collectively. I see Ship Davis in the audience. 1,000 points, 500 rebounds. Well done, young lady. Thank you for what you brought to the community. We will move into the invocation, which I will start off. You're welcome to join if you're so inclined. If not, you're welcome to sit peacefully, and then we'll move into the Pledge of Allegiance, which will be led by Vice Mayor Reed. All right. First item on the agenda is adoption of the agenda that stands before us. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda, or do I? Oh, you are right. Thank you. Hi, Ms. McKay. Will you please do a roll call for us? Thanks.
Mrs. Amos.
Here.
Mr. Reed.
Here.
Mr. Dwyer.
Here.
Mr. Parrott.
Here.
Mr. Yolen.
Here.
Mr. Hunter.
Here.
Mr. Hardy.
Here.
Thank you. I just skipped right over that in the jump. We'll roll into the next item, which is the adoption of the agenda. Does anyone wish to change anything in the agenda? If not, do I hear a motion to adopt the agenda as presented?
I make a motion that, go ahead, Mr. Reed. I make a motion the agenda be approved. Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Aye. Those opposed? Ayes have it. Next item is declaration of personal interest concerning any items on the agenda. Does anyone have a declaration of personal interest they wish to submit at this time? Not hearing any. We'll move into the fun part. I believe we have the Chief Ellington, introduction of Farmville Police Department, new officer promotions, and Officer of the Year.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me the time to introduce one of our newest officers and officers who have been promoted here recently, as well as the 2023 Officer of the Year. I hope he makes it, but that's why he's Officer of the Year, because he works so hard and he's on a call right now. So, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Officer Hope Dowler. Hope is a graduate of Liberty University with a bachelor's degree in Administration of Justice, worked at the Virginia Center Behavioral Health Executive Administrative Assistant to the Medical Director, Nottoway Correctional Center as a counselor, probation and parole probation officer, came to the Farmville Police Department. It was something that she's always wanted to do and felt with her knowledge and background she could better serve her community. So, very welcome to have Officer Hope Dowler. And I will say, she just finished her 12 weeks FTO, and she is officially by herself on patrol. Cool.
Welcome to the team. Thank you very much for being here. I'm sure we're not telling you anything new, but and we say it all the time, but we're extremely proud of this police force and the integrity and with which everyone carries themselves. So thank you for joining the team.
With the recent retirement of Sergeant Danny Bowman and the loss of one of our corporals, that made a big shift within the department as far as supervisors. So at this time, I'd like to recognize Corporal Dalton Foley, he was an officer. Corporal Foley, who has not made it in yet, but he's supposed to be on the way. He has recently been promoted to sergeant. He came to us in June of 2017. He left us for a short stint, went to Chesterfield and decided that the grass was not greener on the other side and missed home, and called and wanted to know if he could come back, which I'm so glad he did. We rehired him in March of 22, and he's now been promoted to sergeant. Kyle Bredden, Officer Kyle Bredden, Corporal. Kyle came to us in June of 2021, has done an exceptional job in working his way up and transforming within the department. Kyle also is a probation officer, ex-probation officer, has lots of experience. There's lots of people in this area, so it's my privilege to introduce you to Corporal Kyle Bredden. And also, Officer Derek Thompson, who had 15 years with the state police, came to us in June of 22. Derek has also been promoted to corporal effective February. Derek Thompson.
Thank you, gentlemen.
I need you to stay. I would also like to introduce Derek. He was our 2023, 2 year in a row, S.O. Donovan DUI Award winner. The DUI Award is named in honor and in memory of former Farmville Police Chief Stuart O'Donovan. The award recognizes a department member who demonstrates an outstanding commitment to the prevention, detection, and enforcement of driving under the influence laws, and for ensuring the safety of the public by removing impaired drivers from the streets of the town of Farmville. Officer Derek Thompson captured 19 DUI arrests for the year this year. Thank you, sir. That's Officer Foley. He's with us now. Sergeant Foley. Corporal Foley, when I told you, had left and went to Chesterfield and decided he wanted to come back home. And he's recently made sergeant, Sergeant Foley.
There's always a home for you. Thanks for coming back home.
Yeah. He's still on that call? Okay. I'll just go ahead and introduce the Officer of the Year. Was awarded to Sergeant Harvey Hoyle. I was delighted to present Sergeant Hoyle with the 2023 Farmville Police Department Officer of the Year Award. He is a 16-year veteran of the Farmville Police Department. Sergeant Hoyle has consistently demonstrated an exemplary work ethic and unwavering dedication to serving our community. Sergeant Hoyle's commitment to his duty is truly remarkable. He consistently goes above and beyond in carrying out his responsibilities, from efficiently managing his shift to the issuance of parking tickets. He's the #1 parking ticket writer in the department, as well as enforcing traffic summonses to promptly responding to calls for service. His diligence and professionalism have significantly contributed to maintaining public safety and order within our community, and he solidifies our mission to provide a safe and secure community through excellence in public service. What truly sets Sergeant Hoyle apart is his selflessness, attitude, and unwavering dedication to his work. Despite the challenges he faces, he approaches each task with a positive and determined mindset, never hesitating to take on additional responsibilities. His colleagues and superiors alike hold him in high regard, recognize him as a model employee, and a valuable asset to the department. Sergeant Hoyle's exceptional performance and outstanding character made him an ideal candidate for the Officer of the Year. I wish he was here, but
Please give him our warmest congrats. Thank you.
thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chief. Always good to hear the accolades that those tasked with keeping us safe. I know I speak for everybody up here. There's a lot of pride in our police force, and we thank you all for the efforts. Next up on the agenda is our own Mr. Davis with the presentation of the 2024-2025 town budget. He loves the microphone.
I have to remember to turn the slides is the biggest thing. Good evening. It is my annual visit down here for you all. I come before you, Mayor and members of council, in accordance with the town charter, to present the 24-25 budget, proposed budget for you. This budget was formulated by a lot of hard work from department directors and their staff, and this is a team effort. This isn't just one person doing this. It is a culmination of everyone. And specifically, I want to thank two individuals that really helped pull this together at the end after everybody submits and after we've had our conversations with each department, and that is Julie Moore, our finance director, and Jackie Vaughn, my executive assistant, who that big packet of the CIP that you see is all of her work that puts all those wish list things, and then as we take things away, she has to redo those and put them back together. So I'm thankful for a great staff here in the town of Farmville that we can present this to you. What I will say is that this budget and any budget that we've done is based upon what you set as priorities. And those priorities are set through when we have a strategic plan and we have set goals to achieve. And it also goes towards the mission of the town, and that is to provide efficient, effective, and equitable service and encourage diverse growth in a charming community. And I think you'll see when you delve into the budget, which I've given you copies of to review after my presentation, that those things that departments are asking for and what we're providing is so that we can provide that efficient, effective, and equitable service to our community. If you look at the summary before you, you'll see that our revenues and expenditures balance. Obviously, that is required, that we can't be like the federal government and not balance our budget. And so at the local level, we have to balance between revenue and expenditures. You are familiar with the funds that go into our overall budget. That's the general fund, our street maintenance fund, the water fund, sewer fund, transportation fund, and the airport fund. General fund, just to give you an overview before you delve into and hit the highlights, the general fund does add 2 positions, one additional full-time firefighter position and one part-time recreational position. This is based on conversations that I came to council and asked that we were at a need based on volunteerism that we needed to begin gradually building a combination fire department made up of paid and part-time staff, and part-time being volunteers, excuse me. And then as we continue to enhance our recreation, it has become the need for an additional part-time. Currently, there's only 2 full-time people in that run all the programs, summer camp, and then we're continuing to add spaces that will need assistance with the splash pad coming on. We're looking at updating the skate park, but then a bike pump track in future years. And so we're trying to set them up for having success as we continue forward. Next is we're providing upgrades in equipment and capital assets. And just to give you some highlights of what those may be, they're reflected in your CIP. But just to give you a few examples here tonight, $234,000 in police cars, $246,000 for a new 911 call handling equipment, a new EMS vehicle for the fire department. This building was built in 2007. We have some institutional colors in here on the walls, if you will, that have been banged up all over the time. And so we're going to phase this in. And so the first floor of Town Hall, the police department was done, I believe, 2 years ago. The first floor of Town Hall will be done this coming year, and then next year we're looking to do this floor, the second floor. We're having the budget to do more renovations at the train station. There's a mini excavator to help them with not only work out in the field, but also it will enable us to maneuver better actually at our cemetery, because it's a smaller piece of equipment that has been needed for many years. And so that will be for Public Works. We're having a new garbage truck, which is needed for the services of our community. Also, the street maintenance department is receiving a new pickup truck. Bathroom changing station at the park, where we'll have a splash pad. That's another $144,000 to look at a prefab changing station and bathroom. $75,000 over the next 3 years, and we're going to do that in increments. And that is to it was brought up by Mr. Hunter at one point about when we went to ABM, or what do we see with Public Works? And we said that we were going to begin to renovate it. We didn't need a whole new facility. And so that will begin this coming year. We're going to put $75,000 to it. That's just a touch of it, but I wanted to touch each little area that plays a part in giving you an idea, and you'll see more of it. The other pieces are that we have suggested an increase to the Heart of Virginia Festival, a very minor increase. We're increasing the library's funding as requested. So all of those things that have other community aspects outside of just the services that we offer, but that are good for our community and bring visitors. Another component is we're providing a raise again this year for our employees. We set a goal of continuing to raise our lower wage employees' salaries to the best of our ability. And I've shared with you over the last few years that that's not done by percentage increases, because percentage increases for the lower wage is less dollars than it is for higher wage employees. And this makes it fair and equitable. Everybody will get the same amount, but it benefits raising those lower wage positions that we have. We're able to give a $3,000 across the board raise for all full-time employees in the coming year, and $1 an hour raise for part-time employees. And the best part of this is, since I have been employed here since 2017, we have never not used funds from the water or sewer fund to make the general fund balance. And I'm here to share with you that this coming year will be the first year we will not transfer a single penny from any other fund, that the general fund is funded on its own.
That's pretty big.
Street maintenance fund, we have a slight deficit, but we'll be able to make that up out of prior year fund balance, and it's not that large of a deficit. This obviously has about approximately $1.2 million in paving, and then there's other funds in there for sidewalks and other alternatives, but there's about $1.2 million in paving projects for the street maintenance fund. And if you remember, these are primarily almost wholly funds that we get from the Commonwealth of Virginia to maintain our streets. The water fund has a built-in contingency, which means it's more than than is needed, which is good because that allows us to continue to have capital. And the reason we're able to do that more now is because we're not taking money from that or the sewer fund to fund the general fund. And so over time, we'll be able to do much larger projects all at one time and also space them out. With this water fund, we also are getting a dump truck, replacing a dump truck with a new one, a water truck that is right now a 1993. So we're getting a new water truck for the water fund for the water fund. There's money in there, obviously, for lead and copper mandates. If you've read anything about that in the newspaper and seen the news, that's a mandate that passed from federal to state and now to us that has to be done by October, at least the reporting of it. And then we're going to do sedimentation drain valves at the water treatment plant. The sewer fund also has a built-in contingency, as you can see. We will be also, for sewer maintenance, purchasing a new sewer jet machine and a service truck with a crane to replace an existing. For the transportation fund, there is no new capital for this year. There will be in future years. A lot of that depends on when buses are needed and their useful life. And that's a lot of depending on funding also from Department of Rail, DRPT, Department of Rail Public Transit from the Commonwealth. There is a slight deficit, but we will make that up with fund balance as well. And then the airport fund, as you can tell, same thing, using prior year fund balance of that slight deficit. We just had a meeting that some of the capital projects may be shifted around at the airport depending on what we can get from federal funding from the FAA and what those projects may be in the coming year. Looking forward past tonight, I would suggest to you our next steps would be at our April work session, after you've had time to review the budget and the capital improvement plan, that we discuss and ask me any questions that you may have or suggestions that we can discuss. And then the following week, hold a public hearing at the regular meeting on the proposed budget, have adoption of the budget on the May 8th regular meeting, and then, of course, we would use the final approved budget July 1 for our new fiscal year. I appreciate your willingness to allow us to present this to you, and I hope you will find that the work that everyone has put in to get it to this point is a product that does meet what I said in the beginning, and that is to provide those, to meet our mission and vision for the town of Farmville. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. I think it's, I know from my time here, there was always transfers into the general fund every year. And we been making concerted efforts to negate that. And so I salute both of y'all in the pursuit of doing that. Thank you. Do we have any questions in general at this time for Mr. Davis? We'll have the week to, or more than the week, we'll have the next few weeks to digest the budget and then reconvene in work session in April where we can bring concerns or any discussions to the table. For the students who are here from Professor Hodges' class, I was remiss. I did not welcome you, so thank you for being here. A town's budget is indicative of its priorities. And so it doesn't often raise the same amount of engagement as other activities that we do, but it should, because it truly represents what a town's priorities are. So you got a firsthand glance at it. So thank you for being here. Mr. Davis, thank you for the presentation. With that, we'll move the next item on the agenda, which is public hearings, and we do not have any scheduled at this time. So we will move into the public comment period. I will preemptively say, I know Professor Hodges' class is here, and I think some of y'all are signed up to speak. Traditionally, lately, when we've had groups of university students here to speak, it's been on one particular topic, which has been an ICA immigration topic. For those who are unaware, I would like to convey the information that last night the Board of Supervisors for Prince Edward County voted to enter into an agreement to take over that contract. So the town contract will expire at the end of March, and it appears that the county is going to be picking that contract up. So that is just a relevant piece of information for anyone who has come to speak on that item. But public comment period, you have 3 minutes, and you're welcome to bring your comments. It's not a give and take. It's just for us to hear your topic or opinion, or express your view. Ms. McKay, who we have signed up?
Mr. Rick Ewing.
Mr. Ewan, how are you doing today?
I'm well. How are you? I know you're going to have a budget sort of public hearing, I guess, but so I'm a little bit early to just make a couple of comments, but I'll be available anytime during that public hearing or any other time to answer any questions. I'm Rick Ewing, the library director for Farmville. Mayor, council members, Mr. Davis, and others, appreciate you giving me a little time here. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for your continued support over the years for the library, for the Barbara Rose Johns Farmville Prince Edward Community Library. This town is, as you all know, is very fortunate to have such a wonderful library. So it's budget season, and I already used up my 3 minutes? Jeez. Oh, it's going up. Holy cow. It's budget season. I emailed some information to you all a little while ago about the library's budget request, and I'd be happy to answer any questions now, like I said, now or in the future. But tonight I'd like to talk about two things, electricity and competition. First, electricity. 2 years ago, the electric bill for the library was about $52,000. Last year, it was well over $58,000. We all feel that when we get our electric bill, but those are big numbers. So I've talked to Mr. Davis about lowering our usage, and it'll take a while. We're working on it in cooperation with the town. So looking forward to that happening, but it won't be a huge impact, and it'll take a while. A second thing is competition, and by that I mean staffing costs, rates of pay. For the next fiscal year, I'm budgeting for a minimum wage at the library of $14 an hour. Walmart, Sheetz, CVS, they all pay more than that for their particular minimum wage. I'm in competition with some other entities around here. I just checked with a local bank yesterday. Their minimum wage for their organization is $20 an hour, absolute minimum starting wage. And that same thing, this whole thing holds true for all levels of the library staff, but it's particularly evident in that the lowest paid. I have a few seconds. I'm requesting an increase. You can read about that, and again, ask me any questions. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Ms. McKay?
Jen Cox.
Welcome.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Well, we had spring break, Big South tournament, and daylight savings time. So it's been an interesting week back from spring break. Well, thank you all for letting me talk, and thank you as always for your support of Longwood. Just one item to bring to your attention, and we're trying to make sure we spread the information far and wide. A lot of you were here 2 years ago to celebrate our men and women's teams for their first trip to the dance. And this year, our men's team will also be in because they won the Big South tournament. So this Sunday, Selection Sunday at 6 o'clock, please join us. Joan Perry Brock Center will open the doors at 4:30. We have some championship tournament t-shirts that'll be available. We're going to ask everybody to be seated by 5:45, and the show starts at 6. So I hope you will attend. We have some posters that are hopefully going to be printed by tomorrow morning. So I'll be getting some of those out and around downtown. I'll make sure to stop by, bring a few to town council here to kind of share the words. So please join us if you are able to. If for those that can't join us, or if you have other questions about merchandise, watch parties, other things, there's a website, and I had sent this to the clerk and to Dr. Davis. So we've got a website with all that information on there as well. I did get a question about where are we going to go? What's it going to be like? It would be really speculative at this point. So if any of you are bracketology experts, feel free to let us know. But I think we'll just wait and see. So, but we'll know where we're going soon enough. But just wanted to share that with you all. And again, thank you for the continued support along with.
Thank you. Ms. McKay?
Kaylin Snyder.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kaylin Snyder, and I'm a freshman at Longwood University. This semester, I'm taking a political science class, Dr. Hodges' political science class, and for this class, we're working to find political solutions to local issues in Farmville and Prince Edward County. Today, I want to talk to you all about the state of food insecurity in Farmville and Prince Edward County. The Office of Disease Prevention and Health Promotion defines food insecurity as a household-level economic and social condition of limited or uncertain access to adequate food. In Virginia, an estimated 22% of individuals suffer from food insecurity, and alarmingly, 16.6% of children in Prince Edward County suffer from food insecurity. There's a great case study of a way that a town is helping their population with food insecurity that comes out of Austin and Travis County, Texas. Through a city ordinance, they created a food policy board that helps with addressing health disparities, increasing local sustainable food production, and ensuring the community has a voice in policy decisions surrounding food and food security. The food policy board is run by a food policy manager who works with a team across 6 city departments, including public health and economic development. I'm aware that Austin has a much larger population and has more economic means to create a board like this, but something similar could be adopted on a smaller scale for Farmville. I encourage you to consider creating a position or program at the town level that helps citizens who suffer from food insecurity. Thank you for allowing me to speak about this issue, and I hope that you will take this into consideration. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you. Ms. McKay?
Miss Vicki Page.
Is Poetry Month coming up again?
Pardon me?
Is it Poetry Month coming up again?
Might be. April is National Poetry Month, and in the past, the town has always complied with our request to pronounce April as National Poetry Month. And since I keep all my emails going back to the 1800s, I was able to pull up an earlier one that was approved by Mayor Whitus back in 2021. So I can, if you all would consider once again declaring April National Poetry Month, I can give this language to the clerk. And we are pursuing Poem in Your Pocket Day again this year. Probably next week, we will be going to the businesses up and down Main Street to see if they want their bucket of poems so they can hand out on Poem in Your Pocket Day. The sports are a wonderful way to galvanize a community, and the arts are as well. So we thank you for your recognition in the past of National Poetry Month, and look forward to you once again doing so. So thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Ms. McKay?
No one else has signed up.
All right, no one else signed up. Does anyone else in the chambers wish to speak that was not signed up? Not seeing anyone, we will close public comment period. Thank you all for your participation. Thank you to the students who stepped up to the mic. We appreciate you. It's always good to have you in the chamber and to hear your voices, so thank you for participating. Next up on the agenda is the consent agenda. You have the minutes from February 7th and 14th before you. If nothing needs to be changed, do I hear a vote to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I'd like to make one quick change to the draft minutes. I'd like the minutes on the February 7th work session to reflect my comments asking that we look at all possibilities for zoning and ordinance before moving forward with the PUD. So that's all I'd like to have added to that draft minutes for the work session. Thanks.
Do you have any problem adding that to the minutes, Ms. McKay?
No, sir.
I'll make a motion, we approve the consent agenda with Mr. Harding's addition to it as well.
And I'll second that.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Mayor, if I could.
Yes, sir.
In the future, this is just for information purposes for
Yes.
council. On a technical basis, if we're gonna make a change from the consent agenda, we should before you adopt it, we should ask that the minutes be removed from the consent agenda. Because it's not a consent if you're making amendments. So that's just for information purposes as far as structure. And for everyone to know, you may not have known that. So I just offer that as, for future, that's the right protocol.
So you're saying
to do this.
structurally, procedurally, pull out the work session minutes from
And put it
the-
under old
put it
business.
under old business.
Yes.
Gotcha.
That's just, I wanted to point that out.
That's a
Because I
good
don't
point.
have any other method other than to discuss it.
And I wasn't trying to be last minute on that. I just
Sure.
read them this today at lunchtime, so the draft.
10-4. Thank you for that clarification. Next item on the agenda is the finance report from Ms. Julie Moore for February 2024.
Good evening. You have the February finance report in front of you. For the ABM project, we earned $21,072.08 for the month of February, and that goes towards future payments. And we also made our first payment to ABM in February, which hurt my heart because it was $1.2 million. For February, we also earned $15,375 at VIP, so we've earned a total of $174,363 since we started investing with VIP last April. We earned $16,967 in February with the sweep accounts at Benchmark, so that means we've earned $166,607 since we've been investing with Benchmark sweep accounts. And then for February, we earned $32,683 with LGIP, so that brings our total up to $289,765 for just fiscal year 24. So for February, we earned a total of $65,025, and that excludes the ABM income we earned. Any questions?
Have any questions for Ms. Moore?
Just one. You mentioned last month that you had heard, or I'm paraphrasing here a bit, but something about the VIP and the LGIP not giving the same allotments of money going forward. We could expect a deduction in 2024?
Yeah, because right now, I think we're earning a little over 5% at both, but it's based on the other interest rates out there. So if they start dropping, like your car loans and house loans, if they go down, then our earnings rate's going to go down as well. And so I listened to a VIP. They had a webinar that I listened to, and the projections are that those rates are going to go down, and eventually it's going to probably be flat at like 3% or 2.5%. but they also predicted the first quarter it was going to go down, and it hasn't dropped yet. So I think it's going to be a little slower moving down than what they expected originally.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Do I hear a motion to approve the finance report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. No old business at this time, so we'll move into new business. Two of these, the first two, A and B, are in relation to work session items we discussed last week. First is the request adoption of resolution number 2024-0301 for the revised financial policies. Do we have any motion to adopt resolution 2024-0301 at this time?
I make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2024-0301, revised financial policies. Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion at this time? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can we have a roll call, please?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos.
Yes.
On unanimous vote, the motion's passed.
Thank you. Next item is the approval of FY 2024-2025 local choice health insurance rates, which we discussed at the work session as well. Fortunate that the rates have not risen, and so we just need an approval here for those rates. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Dwyer,
Yes.
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed.
Yes.
On unanimous vote, the motion's passed.
Thank you. Last item is request adoption of resolution 2024-0302 for regional hazard mitigation plan, which was not in the work session from last week. Mr. Davis, do you want to put any background on this for us?
I don't really have anything to add other than what is in your packet as far as from the summary on the summary sheet. This is a required to do every so often in order for us to meet the requirements of federal legislation and funding that we receive.
Thank you. Looking for compliance with federal regulations. Do I hear a motion to adopt resolution 2024-0302?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2024-0302.
Second.
Motion and second. Any further discussion? Not hearing any. Ms. McKay, can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Parrott,
Yes.
Mr. Yolen,
Yes.
Mr. Hunter,
Yes.
Mr. Hardy,
Yes.
Mrs. Amos,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Dwyer.
Yes.
On unanimous vote, the motion's passed.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the town manager's report. Mr. Davis, you got more for us past the budget?
Just a few things. Tomorrow, you're all invited for a grant announcement that will be done by Dominion Energy, and it's going to be held at our fire station in Farmville. They're putting out a grant announcement to the Chiefs Association, and they're doing it here in the town. So 11 o'clock at the Farmville Fire Station. And then stick around after the announcement and you might get a meal. It's one way to bring them out. And the only other thing I don't have any other real updates. And I didn't catch the student's name that spoke, and I apologize for that. She does have a very good point about food insecurity. And that's a lot in a lot of rural areas. And, we've talked about a few different things, but if you remember, I went to the annual ICMA conference, and and it was actually in the city of Austin in the fall. And one of the what is it called? Mobile workshops that I signed up for was one that was entitled Neighborhood Partnering Tour. And in Austin, they have, like as she said, there's many departments, and they have one that's just focused on how to rehab and do different things in neighborhoods. And one of the, it was 5 different stops, and one of the stops that we did at the end was actually a neighborhood food forest. And so it was actually trees and vegetation that were planted along a trail that's obviously open to the public, and people can come and get nuts and berries and everything like that that are locally, that are grown there on public property for individuals to have as that they may not have a home, they might be homeless, but they have something that they can actually go and pick. And so, you know, that is one thing that we do have some land that we can plant some different things like that if we so chose. I'd like to talk to our horticulturist to make sure how hard that is to maintain or not, other than Mother Nature. But I just throw that out there because that is something that I did bring back. And it was interesting that she mentioned that triggered my brain to share that there are some things I think that we could do in that format to kind of maybe initiate something to that extent. But that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Look at that. That's all right. I'll go around the table per usual. Mr. Hardy?
Real quick, I'll hit on the things. Hope, welcome to the force. Congrats on all the promotions and the Officer of the Year. And I really want to say, we discussed this last year a little bit. Thanks to everybody that works so hard to get the budget done so we can get it approved with plenty of time to get it implemented. That is fantastic.
Mr. Hunter?
Yes. Have a question for Mr. Davis. Well, actually, can you give us the update on the sports arena's bathroom before we get to Mr. Reed?
Well, I'm not real sure everybody knows about the sports arena bathroom. We have had some water issues in the women's room, and we felt that it was groundwater at one point, and today we may have, it may not be groundwater. It may be from one toiletry or more. So we have a plan in place to try to hopefully remediate that. It's not the sewer part of the water. It's actually the clean part of the water that is leaking. So, but we are looking into that a little bit further so that we can. We've got to replace the floor anyway at this point in just that section.
Good. That way the public is notified that we are looking into it. The second thing is that out of all the parks in Farmville, and I don't know if over there on Andrews Drive they do not want a porta potty, but that's the only one that doesn't have one. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No, but we can look at that.
Thank you.
Mr. Yolen?
Well, thank you all for coming tonight. Participation is key. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your day on these new times. 6 o'clock for the work session, 6 o'clock for the council session, 1 week after another. Since we're talking about porta potties, the Grove Park up at the top has a porta potty, and also a building that I assume was utilities at one point, that's closed off. The one you're talking about near the water park, what's the scope of that? It's more, you said it's a temporary structure or a fabricated structure, is that correct?
Yes. It's in your CIP. It's prefab. They'll bring it in and put it together. It'll be on a pad, and instead of being stick built.
But it's a permanent structure, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Parrott?
Not a thing.
Mr. Dwyer?
Nothing, Mayor.
Mr. Reed?
I'm just gonna chime in on Mr. Hunter, about the arena. Has the organization that used it this past weekend been notified of the, are they getting a refund or are they getting?
You can't refund free. It was already a free rental. It was a nonprofit organization, and a nonprofit gets it for free one time a year. So free is free.
Okay, well, I just need to know because I received a call that I shared with you.
Yes, sir.
And I didn't know, because I don't know who gets it free. We don't know, we don't have a list come out anymore.
Yes, sir.
So that's the issue, and I just wanted to know whether you're notified. Thank you.
Ms. Amos.
Very good idea. Thank you for sharing that. I'm very impressed. Thank you.
All right, closing comments. Mr. Reed and I just returned from National League of Cities Congressional City Conference. I had a great time. I attended my small cities council meeting and the University Communities Council meeting, where we discussed town and gown relations extensively, and walked away with a new appreciation for what other localities are doing in that regard. I must say I took a 7-mile jog around downtown DC and hit every major memorial I could in that almost 8-mile run, and listened to a America playlist on my headphones and felt appropriately inspired and proud. This is a country ever striving, and it's important that all of us be active in that striving. And tonight, as students, you've shown up for democracy, so I applaud you in participating in that striving. Comings and goings, I was recently tapped for ODK Leadership Society at Hampton-Sydney College. They'll have a ceremony on April 12th where Miss Carrie Mosler from Centra and myself were the 2 honorary inductees as well as students, and so it was a great honor to be tapped for that. Attended the Virginia Council for Social Studies reception at the Moton for social studies educators from across the Commonwealth. It was a great room, and Kanan Townsend and Mr. Cameron Patterson from the Moton received the Core Foundation DEI Award, which was a great celebration of all the work that those 2 gentlemen have done in our community. And then had a meeting with the National Fitness Campaign, which does some work on converting or building outdoor fitness sort of workout spaces in localities, and enjoyed that meeting as well, but it was just a preliminary investigation of something I had on my mind. And that is kind of the comings and goings. We appreciate everyone once again for coming and participating. Thank you. Don't be a stranger. I say it every time students are here and every time I speak with classes. There's always a seat at the table for you. You just have to claim it. So thank you for showing up. And with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? Those opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.